welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham, back in Inmendham channel. I think I am anyway. I want to make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure. I'm actually recording. Sorry, trying something different. It's always a little bit dangerous. Yes, it appears to be recording. Okay. Do like this Linux little box thing. Yeah. Some things it just doesn't do very well, but some things are kind of interesting. Anyway, and this, of course, do like this, like that. So, yeah, this is kind of stuff that entertains me sometimes. So, subject-wise, I guess we might as well just get to that, right? I am doing a response video to the conundrum video, which is, I mean, it might as well be somebody who's against the whole philosophy, frankly, in my opinion, because he's supposed to be on some sort of right side and some sort of cares about suffering or cares about something related to that in some vague way, I guess. But, the care is in such a useless form that he might as well just be a slave owner, might as well just be whipping the slaves, might as well be just creating the victims, because he's doing everything to maintain the existence of the victims. So it's sort of keep your enemies close and your friends closer, or however that goes. Can't really tell the difference, because they're actions are just as effective at throwing a wrench in the process. They're just as good at breaking the gears and screwing up the project. You can't get anything done with these people in the way. But anyway, so I did get through most of his video and then I quit, and so I'll put together the pieces and post it as a whole video as a response, because the place where I quit, I said, oh well, these are some interesting accusations he's making here. I ought to go see what that one's up to, what the point is. But I figured in this video I just read the comments, from the whatever, the haters, whatever you want to call them, the trolls. That's really all they come down to. Just a bunch of accusations that really just are baseless, and so I'll respond to them. These are just people with some sort of petty grudge, generally speaking. They don't really make a philosophical argument that's any kind of form. They don't produce any content. They don't do anything except write shitty comments. So anyway, so we'll do that. So that's what I'm going to do. Hey, where did my little numbers go? Aren't they supposed to be there? I guess they're invisible on white. That is funny. Yes, they are. Oh, interesting. Well, anyway, I'll have a more professional, blah blah blah. I'm just trying. So you have your choice. You can use OBS to do this video thing, or you can use a simpler screen recorder. And I like doing things the simple way, and so that's why I'm using it. And so it's probably not the best, but it's okay. I like it. Anyway, I'll switch. Blah, blah, blah. I'll try to optimize performance some way. It's funny how he doesn't comment on when Conundrum mentions paradise engineering. So that's the first time I've ever heard the phrase paradise engineering. So I don't know what he means. I didn't respond. I'm responding to the video now. How could I respond to something I never even heard of? So it just sounds just too silly, right? I mean, I wonder if the Paradise engineers, they're in their lab, Paradise Engineering, and there's some guy getting paid $7 an hour to scrub the floors, and somebody's taking the garbage out, and somebody's paying for their electricity, of course, and there's people doing all kinds of slavery work while the lab is doing its little Paradise Engineering. So I mean, I guess they could have called the great soldiers of the Confederacy Paradise Engineers. It's, yeah, it's paradise for some, not so paradise for others. But the whole joke is I mean, yeah, you're going to take this biological infestation. I mean, the whole point of evilism is to point out that the root of the problem is the living organism. It's a machine built to perpetrate carnage on its competition. It's a machine built for warfare. Okay, that's what we're built for. That's why we have this intelligence. This intelligence isn't here so we could create leisure time and contemplate the universe. We have it because it was a really good weapon. It was really good at making you capable of picking up a stick and clubbing your fellow tribe members to death because they were in the way of your genetic code. That's what it exists for. All right, so you're going to fix this problem of an entire biosphere, and you're going to fix it with something called paradise engineering. You're going to give all the little organisms on Earth what maybe you can do it with some sort of a quantum entanglement and give them all little orgasms at the same time for 15 milliseconds, and then they'll go back to killing each other. I mean, it's just so unrealistic as a solution. And why would we bother? What would be the point of it? The point is that it's futile and redundant. I mean, even you Nietzschean types ought to get that Nietzsche understood this whole reoccurrence thing, that, what are we doing? We're just doing the same play over and over and over and over. And the only way we can get away with it is the audience keeps dying and we keep having a new audience do the same play over and over and over for. I mean, it's just too stupid. But anyway, I mean, it's just so unrealistic as a concept, as a solution. All right, which is an alternative solution. So they really think this is an alternative possibility, that you're going to be able to just reconstruct the entire biosphere to create bliss perpetually and bliss in what form? As some synthetic, it's just, I'm sorry, I just can't imagine a smart person thinking there's any point in all of that. Even if it were possible that there would be any point in any of that. Alright, he also didn't say anything useful or critical on his David Pierce Anti-natalism podcast response. So, I don't even know what that one is either. I clearly don't have an obligation to comment on every single other human being on Earth's commentary about life. Alright, and as far as I can tell, David Pierce is all over the place. I mean, depending on how you ask him the question, you get a completely different answer, so I don't know what to say on that. You want me to do David Pierce videos? Fine. Okay, it's either he doesn't know what it is. Yeah, that's probably a big part of it because it sounds so unrealistic. I mean, I know what communism is, I know what communism is. Okay, people who think, oh, there's an infinite amount of resources and we all can have everything and none of us have to go to work and none of us have to do anything and we can all sit and play video games all day because that's what I want to do. And, it's totally unrealistic. It doesn't make any... Let's forgive all the student loan debt, right? That's out there right now. People are saying this kind of crap and it's like, oh yeah, I have empathy for the poor little students and their debt. But how can you do that without completely fucking the people who went to work to pay for their education, the people who paid back their debt? You're totally screwing them. They're saying you did years of work for no purpose. You got totally shammed, ha 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 ha. I mean, it is so ludicrously unfair that nobody could think that's rational. Yet people do. Idiots like you. Alright, anyway. It's either it's either he doesn't know what it is or he thinks it's a better solution but doesn't want to believe in the cause it's against his own argument. So just amazing. If you can come up with some realistic plan, to make all the organisms on Earth incapable of being horribly tortured, I'm all for it, So show me your plan to engineer that solution, alright? I'm still going to argue that, well, all of this effort seems rather stupid and futile. What are you trying to accomplish here? You can make an infinite number of these little stupid organisms, or you can make 10 of them. What's the difference? You really think it matters to the universe? You think it matters logically? Do you think it matters that there's any point in it at all? Why are you trying to reconstruct this microbe into something else? Why? If it was smallpox, you wouldn't waste your time doing it. You'd just say, kill the shit. I don't need this shit in the universe. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't have any function. I mean, this is like bringing back Tyrannosauruses. What, for some emotional reason? Why would you bring them back just to put them in utopia? Let's remake Tyrannosauruses and let them be in bliss heaven too. You know, or whatever you called it, engineered paradise. Yes, let's engineer them into paradise because they got such a raw deal. I mean, it's too silly. All right, Bobby. Let's go to Bobby's channel. He's given me permission to use his name because he has it in the title of his name. Oh, 2 subscribers. Bobby only has 2 subscribers. Bobby. Ugh, it gets a little irritating, this whole thing, like Gary, all through here. I really did. You're not my friend, so why are you taking possession of my name when you're hiding behind a rock and not showing who you are? He has me in the image of the video, but he doesn't show his face. That's just kind of crass. It just shows that you don't think very hard, and you don't mind being rude and selfish, and clearly that's probably why you're for perpetuating torture. Anyway, interesting dilemmas, conundrums. So they really think it's a difficult issue. It's like having a sick dog and putting it to sleep. I mean, it's really not. It's only emotional problems that are standing in the way. There's no real problem. I mean, the dog really isn't going to miss these horrible moments that you're perpetuating its existence in. It really isn't going to miss them. Okay, there's no place you go to. You don't go to some purgatory and say, shit, I missed 10 extra minutes of fun. I was really going to have quite a great adventure or something. So it's just your inability to get over the fact that you have to live the rest of your life without your friend as part of your life. And so it's your emotional problem. It's not some real conundrum. There's no real complex question here. There's either you stop the dog suffering or you don't. Okay, he either suffers more or he doesn't suffer more. So anyway, fuck you, silly person. Alright, Gary's insistence that morality is a made-up word. And my insistence is that I have no use for a word that is used by, say, the slave owners, and they call it bliss engineering or something. Right? I have no use for a word, okay, that has all over it some sort of God doctrine, like they just made up some crap and said God says so. Alright? That's not any kind of rational way to decide what's good or what's bad. You have to decide based on arguments and facts, and morality doesn't have any facts in it. So that's the problem with it, okay? So it has nothing to do with some morality. It has to do with what you can defend as a sensible, rational approach or solution or statement about whether or not something's good or bad. It's either good or bad. You have to have some sort of real reason to put it in a category. Moralists don't have real reasons. That's my objection to the word. I have no interest in being a propagandist for morality. All right, anyway. Because it's a bunch of is made up word because his branch of anti-natalism can be explained through science. No, it's not science, idiot, okay? It's reasoning. Reasoning. Okay? Yes, but it has science in it in the sense that only an irrational person denies evolution. And only an irrational person denies that evolution doesn't have anything to do with bliss and happiness and all that crap. Okay. Let's see. Through science is complete nonsense. And how so? So we won't demonstrate any of this. He doesn't understand that his reductionist, so there's some other way to get to the truth than to reduce everything to its pieces and understand how it functions. So, and the same is truth for our values and all of that stuff. There's a context to how we understand the world. Okay, we are brought up with certain themes and ideas as being the truth, and this stuff is important. When one can rationally argue that no, it's really not important. You know, your little badges and little club ownerships and all that. No, it's not important. Anyway, deterministic. Yes, of course, the universe is deterministic. So you are just outing yourself, Bilbo, as being a dumbass because you don't even understand how the physical universe actually works. You haven't accepted the truth that there is no little magical random gods, and there's not bliss gods, and there's not everything will work out okay gods. None of those things exist. You're an idiot. All right, anyway. Deterministic outlook doesn't permit him from escaping the naturalistic fallacy. There's no such thing as a naturalistic fallacy. So it's just more little jargon. That sounds really cool. You know, let's be naturalistic fallacy engineers. Shit. If we really are brainless robots, I never said we were brainless, so that's a silly accusation. I'm the one saying if you have any respect for our intelligence, you can understand that we can figure all this stuff out. It's not all that elusive, the truth. Understanding the truth is right here for us to do. And 99% of the human population is off on bizarre, silly tangents because of assholes like you. So bravo, asshole. Way to support the degrade of our intelligence, the insult of our intelligence. You're just wiping your emotional inability to accept reality, okay, with the dignity of our intelligence. Following our DNA script, okay. I've been the most overt, aggressive arguer that our DNA script is completely destroyed by our intelligence. Our intelligence can own our DNA script totally. So it's not. There's no. I'm not the one advocating that we can't escape that. You retard. Alright, if we really are brainless robots following our DNA script, so we're not. We're following the intellectual memes, we're following science, we're following the evolution of our intelligence volume, the information we have stored in books and all of that kind of stuff. That's the script we're reading. And my argument is we've got to take all this lies and horseshit out of those books and get to the real part. And the real part explains to you pretty clearly that you have a lot of emotional problems and that really life isn't that complicated when you really look at it. That's all we are, is biological machines. The intended purpose is to lay eggs, okay, to propagate your future existence in a new form, okay, that will be mutated to best fit whatever the new gladiator theme is, And as I explained, the gladiator theme just changes. It goes from short, fat gladiators to tall, thin gladiator. At different moments, a different kind of gladiator will have the advantage, and we just flow in that stream. You idiot. Okay, why anyone? DNA script, then why is anyone even to blame if one has 7 children? It doesn't change being an asshole, okay, saying I couldn't help being an asshole. It doesn't change the fact that you're an asshole. It's not about blaming, it's about describing accurately. So if you can't even do that, it's bad enough that some of you silly people don't think deterrence actually works. Putting people in jail for crimes actually deters crime. Of course it does. But it's even worse that you idiots would think that somehow because you couldn't help being an asshole, we shouldn't label you an asshole. That's really stupid. If something's retarded, that's what you call it, retarded. You don't say it's handy-capable. It's all been determined anyway, and we're hardwired to breed in that case. So again, this isn't my argument in any way whatsoever. So just absolute nonsense. I've aggressively argued against any such notion that we are hardwired. Okay, the fact is we're the most unequipped, biologically from birth organism that's born on the earth. There's nothing as clueless as a human baby. It takes 5 years even to get it going at all. I mean, barely moving in any kind of functional way. A deer pops out and it's running around doing all the stuff it needs to do in about 15 minutes. All right. Hard determinism throws moral blame out the window. So here we go again. Moral blame, whatever the fuck that is. Of course you blame the things that break things, okay? If a gorilla goes into the china shop and breaks things, there's no reason because you say, oh, the gorilla's stupid, he didn't know better. So what? It's still the cause of the effect. You don't sit there and pretend he didn't do it because he couldn't help it. Oh, the only way things in the future don't do it is you have to tell the other gorillas, watch, gorillas, watch. See that gorilla there that just broke everything? Bad gorilla, bad. You see? And then the other gorillas will learn not to do that. They really are smart enough to do that. That's a fact. You can teach gorillas all kinds of neat little tricks. Idiot. So what makes the ephalus superior to the non-ephalus? So this is just, these are your concepts, okay, playing this game. It's about a logical contest, though. What makes it ephallism superior is the fact that it's more reasoned. The logic is more obvious and rational, connected to the facts. The facts pile up. Your facts for your blistopia thingy it doesn't add up at all. Whatever you're defending, I don't even know what you're defending. You just probably like to sit in the sewage and drink it. Okay, then the non-ephalist. I don't know why people listen to this crank. Well, we could ask who the fuck you are. So let's go see if he makes any videos. And then we could ask, why aren't even fewer people watching them? Let's see, what videos do another happy landing. It doesn't look like that. Oh, he plays video games. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's right in reality. He's a realist. Yes, it's all little video game, little clips from video games. Isn't that just too charming? All right, no, it sucks. All right. I don't want people listening to this crank. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of anti-natalism. Well, that seems kind of obvious. But if one is going to follow such a philosophy, you don't follow a philosophy, you understand a philosophy. So yes, if you're going to care about suffering and understand that, oh shit, the odds are, if I had to roll dice, and be anything on this planet, be born as a living being, the odds are I'm going to be born as a fucking maggot. Why would I roll those dice? I wouldn't roll them. I mean, you would, because you think it's a charmed life, being a maggot and growing into a fly. It's a charm. Oh man, I can't wait to do that. It'll be such a fun game to play. I don't think it will be, asshole. I think if you could really do it, you'd have some respect for it, and you'd appreciate how I don't want to do that ever again. You might even say that. I'm sure you wouldn't want to be, the unlucky people that get, cancer when they're 3 years old. I'm sure you wouldn't want to relive their life over and over and over again. Maybe you'd take some of it seriously if some of it actually scratched you a little bit, put a little mark on you. And then you'd maybe look in the mirror and you see the mark and you say, oh yeah, I have to remember, I can't take this. I can't be a glib asshole. But that's all you are now. You're a glib asshole. Okay. Alright, philosophy when, then log on, Philly papers and read what published professors have to say. Oh, aren't we all so interested in what college professors like Jordan Peterson or somebody has to say? They're all so insightful. Yeah. No, they're not lunatics. Oh, jeez. Not guys who rant and rave in their basements. So, again, that's how he defines the quality. So you can just go through all the millions of examples of the people who really did change the world in a positive way from a basement. Let's see, all Gary Inmendham has done is make anti-natalists out to be violent bunch of lunatics. So again, more nonsense, just absolute nonsense. Who want to force people? Yes, well, the fact is, who want to stop rapists? You could just say it that way. Who want to force people? Yeah, the point is once you know it's wrong, you're kind of an asshole if you don't say, well, I'll just be a vegan. That is, I'll just stop me from eating, torturing animals. But I'll let everybody else go ahead and do it. Now, that wouldn't be very sensible, right? I mean, if you're supposed to care for the victims, then you have to go out and do something about it, right? So if the North just said, well, I won't own slaves, and there, we've solved the problem. There's no more slavery. Oh, wait a minute, it doesn't work that way. So, whatever. Yes, I want to force people not to torture, the next generation. I want to force them to find some other way to be happy than torturing people. They don't really have a right to use other people for their gratification. That's the simple argument. You don't get it? I couldn't care less. It's really a simple argument. Okay, not to have children. This is wrong. So, again, it's wrong to stop rape. It's wrong to stop, like I said, if somebody wants to, just for the fun of it, torture a cat, would you say, oh, the law should let them? Where do you draw your lines? So you're just saying that I've drawn my lines in the wrong place because you don't have any respect for the sentience of the animals that exist on this planet. You have no respect for them. And you have no respect for the suffering that will be endured by all the humans who won't have a life that works out really well. They'll be the unlucky ones. They'll pull all of those short straws, the really tiny penis, big giant asshole, and cancer. They'll pull all the shitty straws, and you don't care. You're just going to keep forcing them to pull those shitty straws. That bad luck, having a crack whore as a mother. You're going to keep forcing people to pull those straws. Have AIDS at birth. You're going to keep forcing them to pull those straws. You're a piece of scum. Sorry, but that's it. Yeah, you're scum. Okay, you're wrong. You're evil. You're stupid. You're ignorant. Okay, this is wrong, and anti-natalists should reject it. Well, I don't think any anti-natalist is going to reject that, because they're going to say, of course I have to do something to stop the assholes. Saying I won't be an asshole is not a solution. It's not. Alright, let's see what else. Conundrum says, that's an interesting observation with that hard determinism. I haven't heard it before. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, then why is anyone even to blame if one has 7 children? Similarly, how is anyone to blame if they set 7 children on fire? Yeah, well, you're not trying to compare stupid with some other stupid. But anyway, search Benjamin Kane's rants within the Undead God blog. Oh, that just sounds too interesting. Okay, and look up his 3-4 articles on inmendham. Wow. You won't agree with Kane's pro-natalism, but since he comes from a doctorate in philosophy, oh, that's just so interesting. I have to go find this guy. All right, the undead God, isn't that yeah, he's almost dead. That's what the almost dead God. He's not quite dead. He does a great criticism, I'm sure he does it, on Ephil's philosophy. Well, this ought to be worth a laugh. It ought to be pretty funny. Anyway, he shows how the whole thing doesn't make a lick of sense. A lick of it. It doesn't, So it doesn't make any sense to worry about being born a maggot. Okay. That would be silly to worry about any of that kind of stuff. Right? To worry about the fact that your consciousness is the same as all these other consciousnesses, doing the same basic thing, and it's really just about being lucky and unlucky. I mean, if I'm talking to you, you were probably lucky enough to be born in a civilized country of some kind, and had basically, because you're not doing some psychotic thing like just banging your head against the wall. You had parents enough, okay? You know, but you have the internet, you have all of these advantages, you know, and if you were dare to contemplate what it might be like if you weren't so fucking lucky, that that'd be a crazy thing to do. So that's what the great doctorate in philosophy people. What a joke. Yeah, it's like a doctorate in physics, frankly. You know, the physicists who don't know that the Young experiment's been wrong for 200 years, don't know that, you know, your energy isn't 1/2 mv squared. Jeez, too stupid. Anyway, it's just negative utilitarianism. Oh, isn't that interesting? That he knows what it just is. With a whole lot of fallacious jargon thrown in to make it pseudo-scientific. So I don't know where the pseudo-scientific jargon is. You know, where's what, evolution? Is evolution pseudoscience? Yeah, that's it. It's evolution pseudoscience. So Conundrum says, thank you. I wasn't aware of the critique of Ephilism. Oh, yeah, I wasn't either. Have you checked out the Ephilist wiki? Oh, who cares? Frankly, no, it's good. You know, people should write stuff. It's important. All he wants is his sick doomsday fantasy. Yes, I want to get off the reoccurrence train. Okay, if you want to torture yourself forever, then torture yourself forever. Quit dragging me along. Okay, because I have no interest at all in ever doing this horse shit ever again. This struggle, oh, I'm an asshole for half my life or 3/4 of my life. Like most of you critics here, you're gonna die maybe realizing you were a complete asshole for the substance of your life. You're gonna die with that miserable thought in your head. Oh, fucking Menem was right. I was a complete asshole. I wasted other people's welfare. I tormented things. I abused things. I never appreciated how much it costs to have what I have. I never gave any, you know, I never thanked, you know, the people who were really sacrificing for my existence. I never went to the insane asylum and thanked all those people for enduring untold horror so I could walk around being a glib cunt. I hope you have that thought, frankly, okay? I mean, I can't stop you from being an asshole. I can't stop you from being ignorant and foolish and a moron. And maybe I would have a little bit of a happy thought in my head that someday you gain a little bit of appreciation and maybe a little tear pops out of your eye because you're so fucking humiliated by what an asshole you were. Yeah, that would please me. All right. Does it seem like he's interested in any other solutions? Well, if you could describe them, articulate them in some form that doesn't sound like just wishful fucking hoping. So put it in a form where it doesn't seem like all you're saying is let's all pray for it. Okay, so put it in a form that makes some sort of sense, like you have some realistic prospect of accomplishing the task. But all I hear you do is defend things like, well, feral cats like dying in the street. I mean, you don't make any sense. You don't say anything that makes any sense. You don't provide a single counter-argument that makes any sense. All right. He can think his ineffable babble, I don't know what that is, will ever kill molecule, not to mention whole life on Earth. He can think his ineffable babble will ever kill molecule. I don't know. At some point in reading it 4 times, it's not comprehensible. So this is another one of these kind of assholes who can't figure out that, you know, I'm kind of rude to the other people in this comment section if I comment like this. You know, I just keep posting comments. I could edit my comment and add if I want to. Why don't I just have as loud a voice as everybody else? Why do I think I'm so important that I have to have 3 or 5 or 10 comments on the same video? So that's how clueless this idiot is. He can't even figure out that that's rude. Alright. His psychopath's whining about him getting nailed to the cross and civilized daily well. Criticize daily well. So I don't know. I guess I don't know what that's a statement about. Might as well, I don't know. This is just horribly written. Might as well criticize daily. Okay. God, it's so boring. Okay, so this is an asshole who's here all the time. This is his life, apparently. There are these little critiques. And then he's talking about how it's boring. I mean, there's so much more you could do with your life than this. Yeah, okay. I wish somebody made a stream I would even hop on. And a stream for you to do what? This babbly little commenty crap? You think you're making an argument somewhere in here? Oh, amazing. A stream where Gary dashes out with the guys. Ha ha. Dishes out with the guys. Ha ha. Can you imagine? I don't know what the fuck that could even... What are you talking about? I don't think inmendham liked the picture of him in short shorts. Well, I like it fine. I'm just saying I don't know what a guy who's hiding behind a rock, okay, who won't show his name, won't show what he looks like, doesn't have any videos that show any, that put him in any personal jeopardy, what he thinks it's okay to use other people's. Okay, I mean, if he's afraid to use images, then he shouldn't be using mine. I'm just saying, it's just another example of these people are fundamentally rude. Okay, they're insensitive, rude, and they don't know what fairness is. They don't know what those concepts even are, and they display it in this obvious way. Okay, they'll take every advantage where they can. You know, they put up nothing and attempt to take wherever they can. Do you wish superhuman dance? Do you watch? Oh, this is another. So this is, like I said, this just another YouTuber douchebag. He talks about how he's just totally uninterested. This is all such nonsense, and then he wastes time watching superhuman dance. I mean, hours and hours of, I'm right. I'm the only one who's right. I'm sure of it. Okay. Does he say anything else? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I don't think he says anything over and over again except he's right and I'm wrong. But, you know, that guy's gone off the deep end. Yes, okay. He's saying psychiatrists aren't doing anything because they're not sexually reliving their parents. I don't know what that means. Everything is physical with that guy. You're not vegan. Well, you must all be caffeine clogging your brain. Well, he has a lot of theories, I guess you could call them. But yeah, and I don't agree with a lot of his theories. But the basic argument is that, well, what's your counter? Where's your icon or your beacon of reason shining in the world somewhere? I mean, you can't direct me to the video I should be watching, right? Why don't you just post a link to the videos everybody's supposed to be watching? The ones that are so much more relevant, the ones that are talking so much more sense. Why don't you link to some of those? So Conundrum doesn't watch his videos. Well, why don't you watch his videos? He's also, well, anti-natalism plus, at least. Yeah, I'm also trying not to. I don't have any problem not doing it because there's no content in the videos. I could roast Inmendi so badly. Wasn't that interesting? So this is, well, it's just more of the same. Look at all these comments by the same rude asshole. So again, they just show, you show how like it's like a Piro. You know, Piro does this kind of shit. It just shows how clueless Piro is. That, you know, I'm sure when Piro goes to a comment section and there's 49 comments by the same asshole, I'm sure he says, "What the fuck?" You know. Anyway, so badly, I just want to cause extra suffering, and I couldn't be fucked. That would take a lot of editing too. Well, yeah, it'd be really, it's such a burden to type a space between a comment. Funny how you guys aren't just people with an opinion. No, you are just trolls. So, I don't know. Let's see. Because that's a fair way to manage discussions. Well, that's enough of this. It's just, It's just too big a waste of time. All right, well done conundrum. Okay, and so well done why? How? What argument did he make? He lied about the fact that I'm against utopian solutions. I'm not against them. If you have one that's practical and realistic, I'll vote for it. Just like the cat problem. If you can come up with it, you give me a solution, okay, that doesn't involve cats eating garbage forever and getting run over forever and being torn to shreds by each other forever and dying slowly, miserably, and horribly. If you want to give me a solution, then I won't be for killing any cats. I won't be for culling the cat population, doing the generational thing, wipe out one generation so you prevent all the future generations. Give me the good solution and I'll vote for it. But you're not providing one. You have these insane solutions where veterinarians get preposterously wealthy and everybody else loses, especially the cats. You have this idea that there's an endless supply of cat owners out there just waiting to have a cat. When no, all you're going to do is decide what cat in a cage gets adopted and which one doesn't. You're just putting a different label on winner and loser. That's all you're doing. You're not fixing any of the problems. Oh, you people are just such liars. Anyway. He isn't good at crafting, defending, or engineering ideas. Well, you won't prove that with a rational argument. He also fails to extend the same courtesies to others he lavishes upon himself. Now that's just hilarious. Where am I discourteous? Go find the comments I've posted on other people's videos that are anything nearly as rude as yours. Go ahead and find those, please. Such as insisting on being misrepresented. I don't know what that is. So I guess, how do I misrepresent people? I play their entire video. Unlike Conundrum, I play his whole video. So how is that showing a duplicity or an unfairness? How can I in any way distort what he says? I don't paraphrase him. He does it all the time. He says, inmendham is for blah, 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 and he doesn't quote me. I mean, you people are just such liars. Hey, I could answer the question about difference between value ethics and morality. So let's take, for example, abortion, where the negative value that goes into deficit when a person is committing abortion. That goes, what the hell? Where is the negative value that goes into deficit when a person is committing abortion? So we ask the question. You see, even if the fetus feels pain, and people who are against abortions are simply against it because they... So even if the fetus feels pain, again, you still can't make the argument that the fetus doesn't feel pain being born. So... I mean, its skull gets crushed. Lots of shit happens to it. The whole process of being born is a physical hardship. So if it does feel pain, then you know you're torturing it. You don't know even, like I said, you don't know what bugs feel. So a bug goes into a chrysalis, right? And it doesn't do it because it thinks, oh yeah, it's going to be fun. You don't even know when all of its parts are being moved around whether it actually feels some of that or not. What if it does? I mean, it could be an insane amount of torture that's committed to every butterfly to be born. I'm sure, I've made the example of the salmon swimming upstream and being killed slowly by the fresh water and having its whole body rot. Well, whatever. Where is the negative value that goes into the deficit when a person is committing abortion? I don't understand what the negative value that goes into deficit means. He's asking you for what's the harm. And yes, saying it in a silly way, frankly. The rest of your words include assertions we're required to qualify and substantiate before your points can be addressed. Then you go into the F-list favorite of purely logical. Oh, there's something other than the best logic we can muster. Can we say that? The best logic we can muster. How's that? Be as logical as we can. Oh, is that asking too much from you too? Anyway, this is nothing more than convert ad hom and poison the well, so that you sound like superhuman dance now with all this jargon. It's just so funny to use acronyms against jargon when you're jargoning. Oh, God, the propagandists claiming propaganda. It's a slight against your interlocutor. Oh, yeah, so it's rude. You're covertly claiming you're logical and everyone who objects to you is necessarily not logical. Yeah, well, that's a fine thing to do. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. All you have to do is put up the logic and then you win. But you don't do that. And what is pure logic exactly? It's made out of facts, I'll tell you that much. You put a bunch of facts together and they point. Okay? That's logic. It's meaningless terminology. Well, it really isn't. It's the whole function of intelligence is to add facts correctly. And you don't do it because you're an asshole. Let's go to his channel. Let's see what he's up to. He's doing whatever big beard thing. Oh, no content. Oh, okay. Minds.com. Steve Godfrey. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I have to go check that out. Don't need this window anymore. We're back. Alright. Chris, I don't even agree with everything you say, but the way Gary argues gives me an aneurysm, and his followers emulate it. So, this whole how Gary argues thing, right? I mean, 15 years, there's videos where I'm just basically pleading with people to understand, okay? And then there's videos where I'm angry. Now, if you edit it all up, it's, you know, somebody who wishes to exaggerate preposterously would say it's 50-50, right? But the truth is that 90% of my videos, I'm not angry. Alright, he goes off on this unrelated tangents. So there was nothing unrelated in my video. So my video, he just clipped it into pieces. Okay, so there's no unrelated tangents in my video, retard. Besides the fact that, yes, when I'm reading comments, there's going to be all kinds of unrelated tangents, because that's all you people are capable of. So this is how he argues evilism, is to argue that, oh, where semantically you have an unrelated concept. Yeah, okay. He goes off on his unrelated tangents that has nothing to do at all with the point he's arguing against. So, I don't know, he won't provide examples, like all of them. They'll never provide the quotes or the examples. But says it's an impressive sounding... but says it in an impressive sounding manner that will make the other person look bad. No, I just point out how can you make this more complicated than it actually is. All right, I mean you have an animal just got hit by a car, is squiggling on the side of the road in convulsions, and you're saying, hey, it'd be a good idea if we can stop that from happening, because I don't want to do that, because I figured out that that's how this reoccurrence thing works, okay? Is that, you know, if you own slaves now, you're going to be born a slave later, kind of thing. You know, that this isn't going to really work. I don't get to be continually the favored class. I don't get to be born the nice people all the time. You know, I get to be the losers. And I don't want to be the losers. I don't want to be the, 800-pound person in spandex. I don't want to do that. Cut off the fat. Oh, coincidence. And it's empty. So whatever. So that's the proof. And you're talking about lawyer games in a sense, and here you are just playing the ultimate lawyer game. They don't have any evidence. Guns, muns. The glove doesn't fit, you quit. You know how it works. Fuck that stuff called evidence. That's all a lie. You're playing the game, asshole. You're just talking the talk. You're not going to walk any walk. Alright. Reminds me of Jordan Peterson when he talks outside his field. When he talks inside his field, he's not too rational either. That's why I don't bother arguing with them at all. Well, aren't we all, enjoying another advantage? Isn't that? Oh, it's good we don't have to sit there and listen to this asshole too. And the fact that he's incompetent, tactless, uncharitable, all of these things are in what way proven? Oh, that's right, they're not. Closed-minded. Well, what does that mean? Where am I closed-minded? Anyway, none of that will come up. Simplistic. Yes, I think simple is the right answer. Stupid. Yeah. It's simple, stupid. Okay? Ignorant, delusional, dishonest. None of this will be proven. So these are all just accusations made, empty sleeves and such. Once you educate yourself, you do that yourself, did you? Okay. He's simply not as smart as you think he is. And so again, who cares? It's about the arguments themselves. Again, you don't have to be smart to figure it out. It's like I said, even evolution. Doesn't take a very hard look to figure out how brutal and nasty it is. Time to outgrow him. Okay, people. Yeah, so you made a really great argument here somewhere, right? Oh, no, that's right, you didn't. You just made accusations you didn't back up with any evidence at all. Not even a glove that doesn't fit. He's obsolete, and you know it. Whatever. So let's see what Conundrum said. Let's see, I follow Gary since 2010. Whilst I'll give him the fact that he is arguing a difficult position intellectually, it's really not a difficult position. It's just that, obviously, the religious kooks are the religious kooks. Frankly, most of the human race is living on hope and bullshit. Okay, and they certainly don't want to take responsibility for how dangerous all of their activities are. They don't want to accept that everything they have is probably being taken out of something else's welfare. They don't want to feel guilty, and they don't want to feel like an imposer and as a terrible, awful being. So they have to reconstruct the facts to make their life fun. And perhaps there is some value in being combative about it. I felt that he is extremely tactless while going about his points with other like-minded individuals. Well, they're not obviously like-minded, or I wouldn't be having arguments with them. So, wrong again. I'm just arguing that there's no point in pretending these divergent philosophies are allies, because they're really not. And you're going to have to watch them, because the day your first enemy is killed, they're going to start shooting you. So I wouldn't give them a gun. This is Osama bin Laden, okay? He'll fight the Russians for us. And then he'll blow up your cities. I mean, it's too stupid. Okay. It's not his privilege. A lot of AN and pessimists are like this, whatever this means. It's just so silly. ADK, exactly why, whatever. I find a lot of errors, so more just talk. We won't have any examples. In his way, though, I can respect that over 10 years, what's actually 15, his position's almost stayed the same, and he has, well, that's really nothing to, you don't reward people for staying the same, frankly. But yes, you should doubt people who change their opinion for every 6 days. Yeah, that should be reason to doubt. Has been defending it with strength. I don't know what this is. But at the same time, I can't understand why people are just assholes to each other while arguing. You can't understand. You're arguing with somebody who's going to cause some other person great harm, and you don't understand why the argument might be hostile. You don't understand why we couldn't just negotiate with the Nazis. Whatever. There's no need to, especially among ANs. Anyway, I find it kind of embraces other aspects that I don't like in public discourse. So, well, frankly, the whole point of public discourse should be skin in the game. I think it would be a lot better if public discourse was to the death. That you only showed up and you only got into the fight if you're willing to be put in prison for a year if you're proven to be an asshole. Some kind of real reward and punishment, because there's too many people doing it too casually and just playing games. just playing word games. They have no skin in the game. They have no sincerity in their arguments. Okay, in sum, he is all right, but I certainly am not a subscriber. Well, I'm certainly not a fan of you either, fuckhead. But anyway, yeah, the extreme combative stance makes other people not want to engage. And engage with what? I'm not interested in having some sort of social interaction. All you have to do is form an argument, and then you can post it. You could actually type an argument. Instead of your argument being, I'm right and he's wrong, you could actually articulate a statement, and then I would have to deal with the statement you articulated. So explain to me what evolution is. Explain to me how determinism isn't real. To explain all of this stuff to me, okay? And then I'll read what you say, and then I'll have to respond to it. What more could you ask for from an argument? An argument should be a debate about what are or are not the facts. You are the people who waste time talking about how I'm not polite enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. You're the ones wasting all this time on that kind of crap. You're the ones not getting anywhere near the subject. I'm always on the subject. They often feel they aren't being heard or taken seriously or even able to engage in a serious discussion because they can't bring anything called a fact to the table, something meaningful. Bring something meaningful to the table, and then it'll be discussed. But you're not bringing any of that. Okay, so this is conundrum. This is the same asshole again who never, ever, ever, ever. All he does is says your solution isn't good enough. I don't have one. And this should be the context for discussion. You tell me how my solution isn't good enough, and you provide nothing as an alternative. And yes, there's no need to be assholes to one another. Well, I think there is a need when, frankly, like I said, this isn't a negotiable thing after a point. There's a point where it's just too silly. You're defending torture, okay? You're evil overtly. You're insensitive, cruel. You would perpetuate the torment and the torture of beings forever. Because you will not act, because you will not do what is rationally right there in front of you. You'll say it's an unacceptable solution, I have to get my fingers dirty, I won't do it. All right? And you'll torture people because you're afraid to get your fingers dirty. The world already provides so many assholes we have to deal with. Yeah, so and that would exactly be my definition of you. You're just another piece of shit in the fucking way. You're not, you don't have enemy written on you. You just have time waster written on you. You just clog the treads of the, bulldozers. We're trying to get somewhere and you're just grease in the way. Spot on response video. One of the diabolical aspects of living in this world, in my opinion, is not knowing of a peaceful way to prevent non-consensual harm to all the potential sentient beings. So it's a diabolical evil that we can't do anything about it. He's sure there's no good enough solution. Nope, can't be done. It's impossible. Again, he would just sit there, with the thought experiments. You can just go on and on and on. And even though all he's going to say is, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. You're asking too much. I have to, I have to pick a piece of paper off the ground. Oh, it's too much. You're asking too much. Perpetuating harm through procreation and ending it once and for all both involve violence. Not much violence, frankly. So again, you can say it's violence. You can say it's violence. But can you explain how it is really a harm? If somebody gets shot, it's just, I've already done the examples. But dying instantly in a nuclear bomb, or even the people in those plane crashes, right? They die so quickly they didn't have time to say, I'm dying. Okay, that's how quickly they died. They didn't even have time to say the words, I'm dying. It happened so fucking fast. All right, their brain is unconscious that fast. All right, how do you explain that to be a harm? I mean, exactly. I mean, how do you make that into a great, horrible tragedy in any sense that's real? It's only emotionally a harm because of the crudeness of it, because of the brutality of it, because of its overt, aggressive smell. But in anything real. Anyway, I so want there to be a peaceful path. Well, it's just so, I so want. But and I'll negate and do everything you can to instill in other people hopelessness just because you gave up. And because it's clearly no plan is a plan. There is no choice. You have to do something because doing nothing is failure. Okay? Not showing up is guaranteed failure. You're saying, I'm just not sure I can win the race. Well, not running in the race is guaranteed failure. You have to do better than guaranteed failure. You can't say you care and then say, well, I'm not even going to show up. I'm not even going to try. Okay. If there isn't one to be had, blah, 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 blah. Oh, these people are disgusting. Why are you so concerned with a peaceful end to sentient life? Why do you find the violence and breach of consent so disagreeable? With the hypothetical red button, it would be swift, so swift as to be an unconscious instant. Yeah, so it's they don't have a counter argument. They just want to keep saying, but that's just horrible. But it's not. Yeah. Extermination of all sentient life involving no suffering. Yes, so there, it's that simple. And it's impossible to argue that it isn't true, that is your best end. You can't write a script that ends better with "you're instantly dead." I mean, that's the best ending there can be to the script. You just can't do better than that. Gary has used this analogy before, and I quite like it. Imagine you created this universe on a computer. You wouldn't unplug it? Yeah, you wouldn't be desperate to. Holy fuck, what have I done? And you assholes are sitting there trying to force the plug back in the wall. You're doing everything you can to protect the plug. Protect the plug, protect the plug, the holy plug. I mean, and then you say, oh, no, I'm on the side of right. No, you're fucking evil. Like I said, I mean, these people are the defenders of religion are more obnoxious than the religious. The people going handy capable, they're the people who are worse than the retards. Why are you so concerned with a peaceful end to sentient life? Because I generally think it is wrong to kill sentient beings. Oh, I mean, it's just keep doing it. They just keep doing it because I generally have this general notion that it's wrong. It's wrong to put a dog out of his misery. A sick dog. It's wrong. Don't do it. Okay, exceptions would include killing in self-defense. Well, isn't that what this is, jackass? You haven't figured that out yet? You really haven't. I mean, I've overtly told you. I mean, this all occurred to me because I realized it's in my self-interest. I realized as a slave owner, okay, that, you know what? I'm going to live and die, and then I'm going to be one of the random people born. People are just going to be randomly born, they're just going to fly out of vaginas. And I've engineered a system where very few fly out of these owner vaginas, and a lot of them fly out of the vaginas that don't own. And so I'm sentencing myself to that prison. I'm sentencing myself to be one of those things I'm considering a disposable object. So in a sense, this is self-defense for me. I hate to say I'm that selfish, but yes, there's a part of me that's just in it because I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep being born a slave. Fuck that. Okay, rational suicide and also euthanasia. So I'm sure there's some kind of irrational suicide. I don't think you can irrationally suicide, frankly. It's really hard to think what you're imagining that could be irrational. that would compel you to commit suicide. So you'd have to show me some of those irrational suicides, depending on the circumstances. Whatever. Why do you find the violence of and breach of consent so disagreeable? With the hypothetical red button, all right, we already did that. Because it would harm sentient beings. So again, he says it. It harms sentient beings to die instantly. There's an actual harm to that. That somehow that's like much worse than a hangnail. Causing them to suffer and feel pain. So he's just, again, totally ignored the thought experiment. The thought experiment is it's a guillotine, okay? I mean, your head's off before you even know it was even coming off. Okay, you don't even have time to say, oh, I'm dying. Oh, shit, I'm dying, and you didn't even get it out. You're dead so fast. Okay, anyway. Perhaps excruciating pain and fear. Well, there's no point, right? This person can't pay any attention. Against their will. I do want harm forced upon me. So again, you rather die of cancer than die in the guillotine. And you're telling me that you're an authority on being reasonable or rational. No, you're irrational, you're emotional, you're a baby, you're silly. Okay, you have a phobia. Okay, I mean, I have phobias. You know, I have a psychology that's fucked up, you know, in terms of my physiological reaction to things. But I admit it, okay? So just admit that you're scared, okay? But it doesn't have anything to do with a rational fear. It's an irrational fear. This snake isn't poisonous. You know, this spider doesn't have any fangs. And by extension, anyone else. Even if every human were to consent to world destruction, there would still be an ethical question of killing the other animals. So again, he says there's an ethical question. I'm just trying to figure out what's the ethical question. They don't know that what they're doing is harmful in the first place, right? The breeding. They don't know that they're sentencing most of their kittens to death. You're going to prevent them from doing that. And you're saying, there's some ethical question. The ethical question is, if I don't do it, okay, what happens in the world? Billions of kittens suffer. If I do it, I stop that. I've cured it. What's the negative consequence? Who suffers if I do it? Oh, that's right. There isn't any. All right. So let's see what he does to the unplug thing. In this hypothetical example, if you could simply unplug the computer and end all suffering instantly with zero pain or fear to the inhabitants who would have no knowledge or awareness of the unplugging, then yes, I would. I most likely would. So he just doesn't understand the thought experiment is you can almost get to that. You're 10 people short of that, right? I mean, once somebody understands the philosophy, I'm just saying that once you understand that, yeah, my life is interesting and I'm committed to it because I'm addicted to it, but I understand there's no point in causing this addiction to other people. There's no point in me giving them a heroin addiction or a cigarette addiction or any kind of addiction. And yeah, so there's no reason in starting any of that. So they understand all that. They understand cleaning up. And so you clean it up the best you can, and there's a few little tiny crumbs on the ground, and you have to make sure the crumbs don't grow back. So you have to blow up the last little seeds. It's a tiny percentage, and they won't be sitting there running around in panics and in fear. So that's all part of the lie here. Okay, but anyway. But I am not the omnipotent creator. Well, why should we even care? It's just about what your brain can do with a logical circumstance. Okay? I mean, again, you're faced with a circumstance that's right in front of you. No decision is a decision. Okay? There's a little girl under a car, and the car's on fire. No decision is a decision. Okay, and you're being asked to figure out you're part of this whole thing. You're stuck in it, okay, fucker. You're on this lifeboat. You have to have a conversation about what role you're going to play and whether you need to be in the boat. There's a conversation that's worth having, and you're pretending there's no conversation worth having. In the real world, I do not see an ethical basis for omnicide. So again, more silly words. So he's just basically saying, I don't see any basis for stopping slavery. We should just keep making the slaves. Keep creating the cripples and the dysfunctionals and the mutants so they can be tortured over and over and over again forever. So yes, you're about as heartless and evil a piece of shit as I could possibly imagine. Alright, this is probably enough by now. Let's see. We're not for killing animals. We're for bombing them to instant death. Well, good enough. Is one of the dumbest non-arguments one can attempt. So again, there's not going to be a counter-argument. It's even dumber when taken seriously by other people. I'm not sure how more clearly that can be stated. Well, you didn't state anything. Your counter-proposal is perpetual and enormous suffering. So your solution is nothing. Yes, just keep making the slaves and keep torturing them. Anyone who takes that nonsense seriously is seriously bamboozling themselves. So there's no argument here. There needs to be a clean, obvious break between AN and Ethilism. I would argue that let's see, and he's using my real name here. Why is that your business, fuckhead? Why is that your property? Why? It's not my channel name. Okay, it's not really your business. Anyway, he's gotten himself involved with this Anti-natalism International project. So again, I'm involved in the sense that I am one of the branches of philosophical perspective that has a common purpose. Yeah, he's using my name more than once. I'm not even going to read it then. Fuck it. It's just too rude. I thought he was pretty hard on you. I'm just saying, I'm not affiliated in any way, okay, with Anti-natalism International, beyond the fact that, like Benatar and like other people, I have a shared interest in part of the agenda, okay, which is to get people to think about procreating and what's the consequences and all that stuff. Now, I have nothing in common with the people who want to exterminate humans so nature can grow back and become even more hideous. Yeah, I have nothing in common with them. I have nothing in common with Gaia people who want to save the environment. So yes, they're my enemies essentially, okay? They're really not allies of mine in any sense. But obviously we have a common enemy. So that's all there is here. There's nothing more. And, they want to make everything into something. They're just conspiracy theorist nuts. They're just, they're just so full of shit. This is the best they can do, is arguments. Anyway, inmendham is accusing you of being dishonest when he is the one being dishonest. So we won't have any of these dishonest quotes ever produced. He is projecting onto you. I have seen him doing that in multiple occasions. Well, we're not going to have any evidence of it ever. So just more lies from the liars, of course. I suspect he does that on purpose. What am I supposed to believe? That you're doing it on purpose where you don't prove any of your accusations? So you are a despicable liar and you know it and you don't care. Oh, okay, that's what I'll believe. He suspects he does that on purpose because he thinks he is justified in doing that. Well, it's just such nonsense. But he also seems used to doing that. So again, there's just more babble. Blah, 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 blah. Not a single argument will be made. Inmendham keeps contradicting himself. There's no contradicting while misrepresenting and strawmanning you. There won't be any examples of any straw man. I played his whole fucking video. It's clear what he said. I'm not misquoting him. You'll never find the quote where I misquoted him. Okay. He continually uses dishonest. So he just keeps saying it over and over. Let's see. Strategies like the statement that that we didn't need to kill human beings, we just need to kill animals. Well, today, but I'm just saying that, obviously we do it in the right order. I just don't know, and where did I ever say we wouldn't need to kill human beings? I've already pointed out that, no, the end game will be a war, right? I mean, there'll be a point where it'll be a tiny percentage of the human race against the huge percent of the human race. And there'll be a tiny percentage of the human race, dissenters, religious people, other kinds of nutters, who don't wish to go with the plan that's been agreed upon by the democracies. And they're going to try to do something evil. And yes, we'll stop them. So yeah. But there's no other statement. But it won't be any more egregious than any other war. People have had wars for the stupidest fucking things. This is a good cause. A statement that doesn't need to kill human beings, just need to kill animals. That actually doesn't appear to be his true plan. So again, I don't know where this nonsense comes from. So there won't be any quotes of me saying anything otherwise. I've never said, well, we don't have to kill a single human being. Well, we probably do have to imprison them or do some other things, but I'm just saying, yeah, I don't have any expectation that every human being will be on board, okay, when the decision is made to outlaw pregnancy. Okay, it won't happen. It's like what percentage of the American population has to become vegan, all right, or vegetarian motivated, before you start banning the production of meat, right? Well, there's a certain percentage, whatever the percentage is, 52%, 57%, 64%, there'll be some percentage. And then the others will be fighting back. And they'll be violating the law, and we'll kill them. That's what we do to people who violate the law. Right now, you can't do certain things, or the government will kill you. I mean, it's just a fact. Like marry your own children and stuff. But most importantly, it is not that relevant. It is not that relevant. The species of the victim. I don't even know why killing non-human animals would be different from killing humans, morally speaking. So again, he's using the word morally speaking. Value speaking. Obviously, humans are invested in their life. They can understand what life and death is. Animals can't even have the conversation, you retard. They have no conception of life and death, you idiot. Oh, you're just so fucking stupid. How could they fear something they don't even know exists? Another of his dishonest rhetorical tactics when he said, when we annihilate sentient beings on the planet, they are going to die in a millisecond. So he's saying what? That's not possible? Of course it's possible. He argued that they are not going to feel terror and pain. That is not true. So amazingly, they will feel terror and pain. How so? Killing every sentient being on the planet without inflicting extreme suffering to at least part of them is even less practical or plausible than the idea of sentient life annihilation. So again, it's just he just obviously doesn't understand how nuclear what do you call the atoms breaking thing? It happens at the speed of light. Okay, it's really fast. All of the energy released happens at the speed of light. Okay, so it's incredibly fast. Okay, incredibly fast. Really, really incredibly fast. Anyway, I suspect he is actually aware of that, but he occasionally hide that in order to convince people. So again, more of this nonsense. And it wouldn't matter anyway. Like I said, even if I've already made concessions. I mean, even if you had to torture an entire generation, I'm willing to be tortured. Okay, so if that's what it comes to, I'm saying quite honestly to you, that's the price you have to pay. That's the price you pay. You're still so far ahead. You've made so much profit. It's insane. So this minor loss is so much less than the loss of not acting. And so there's no way it makes any rational sense to even allow that to be a prohibition. Even if even if you had to torture 7 billion human beings to accomplish the task, you are preventing the torture of 7 billion times 10 to the 400th. You're preventing such an extreme amount of torture that it can't be thought of as anything other than ridiculous not to take the deal. You're given such a great deal, you can't refuse the deal. All right. For him, it doesn't really matter. It's true. If all the existent sentient beings, whether human or not, get to experience extreme pain, extreme fear, yes, that's right. If I'm preventing even more pain and fear, I'm one, and that's all I care about is the equation and being on the right side of it. You wish to torture more people. I wish to torture less. That's the fact. The only fact that matters in this whole fucking conversation is I wish to torture less. You're defending torturing more. That's it. That's the truth of it, okay? And then you're saying you're somehow the moral and ethical, decent human being. I'm saying, of course, you're an irrational, stupid, idiotic, illogical, nonsensical, retard, fucktard asshole who just fucking tortured things for no good reason. What's your good reasoning for denying the obvious truth that you have to go with the plan that creates less torture? That's your obligation as a reasoning organism, to go with the plan that causes less torture. Is there a point? I don't think so. He would like people to use euphemisms like euthanasia. I don't know. It's not one of my favorite words either. Mercy killing, maybe. Instead of killing. No, I'd just like you to understand the distinction that murder, every death isn't a murder. Okay, every death doesn't have with it some, oh, I wanted it to be this way. No, that's not the way it works. So fuck that nonsense. Killing means imposing death. Euthanasia means good death. Well, there is a difference, asshole. Why should we add a positive connotation to death in general? Oh, because it spares somebody unnecessary pain, you retard. He doesn't even understand what euthanasia is. That the whole point of the death is to prevent the pain. Oh, what a stupid... Yeah, too stupid. Alright, so we've probably done enough. Ugh, shit. So, maybe I'll come back to this. Look at all this crap. Lying sacks of shit. Ugh. Amazing. Alright, anyway. So, cube. Yeah, it makes me. Anyway, yeah, we don't need that anymore. I can go over here. I like it. Alright, anyway. So I can hit that button, I can hit that thing. Anyway, till the next time and such, and so forth and whatnot. And so there should be videos back on the inmendham channel. And until Google does something stupid again, which it no doubt will, and such. So, till the next time, and such. So there should be a video sometime in a day or so of the response video to the conundrum video. Blah, 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 blah.